Welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Walker. This podcast is about my personal journey from being $25,000 in debt to getting to $1 million of net worth by the age of 43. Follow along with my journey, implement the ideas, and let's do it together. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's get started. Good morning, guys. What's going on? And welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. Today is Saturday, January 22nd, 2022. So 22nd, 2022. Man, I got to say right now, it's a tough day for crypto. I definitely am looking at Bitcoin and my balances and just like, man, I can't believe 3 months ago, I was where I was compared to where I am today. I try to look at put everything on myself as far as like, it's my own responsibility to make my own trades and stuff. I just feel like I need to find new people to listen to kind of on YouTube, because everything has just been bullish this whole time. About November, when things were peaking out, I kind of had this like thought to myself. I said, if I stopped right now and sold everything, I'd be very happy with where I am. Because when I started in April or May of 2020, I think, I started just with a small investment, $400 in Chainlink. And then I put another 1,000 in, or 1,100, something like that. And that ended up 4Xing. And so that was kind of my first, realization of how, parabolic things could go and how quickly you could, double and triple and even 4X your money. So that was a great way to start. And then I just started putting in more and more and more and more, until the point where I got to a point where I had 4X'd everything that I put in. And then we had that big crash in April, May, whenever it was, and I lost probably 30 to 50% of my portfolio in like a week. So I definitely was hurting at that time, but, I rode it out, went to July or so. And then we had that big run up, this past like September to November. Still at that time, it's just like, you hear everybody on YouTube talking about how Bitcoin's going to be at 100K, and, they give you all these price targets of where they think it's going to go. I personally think that has really just kind of messed me up as far as my expectation, because I personally know when something is going straight up, to sell. It's not going to keep going straight up forever. You have to take your profits. And again, like I said, anything that's happened has been on me, but I basically have just been thinking that, the way the last two bull runs have gone, because of everyone on YouTube saying that things are going to be going up for a specific amount of time, and then we're going to hit these price targets, it's just better to hold. But it doesn't seem like that's true. I could have probably 4X'd my 4X if I had taken profits at the right times, and it's easy to say, yeah, you're going to sell the top and buy the bottom. But I feel like I could have done better just by just trusting my own instincts on some of this stuff. And it's like, if you just got to think short term, and some of these, like they say, just when in doubt, zoom out. But, I don't really want to be of the mindset where I'm like, I'm just going to ride the highs, never sell, and then ride the lows, because when you lose 30 to 50% of your portfolio in a week, that sucks. It's a crappy feeling. Just to know that you could have set yourself up for success a lot better and just had money even on the side to play with. So, like I said, this is all on me. But I am going to start doing specific things. Like, I found this new YouTuber called Data Dash. I only watched one of their videos so far, but it's very, chart analysis and more analytics than just, I think a lot of the other YouTubers are just all about hype and, just talking about the future and the technology, and that's great. I personally want to see chart analysis. Even some of the other stuff, like even the ones that are doing the charts, they still were just like, oh yeah, it's never going to go below this. But the guys who are like Journey Crypto, I think, is another one. He was talking about an upcoming Bitcoin death cross. I wish I'd been listening to those guys like a month ago, because I would have gotten out of my positions and, probably had 20 to 30% more in my bags than what I do right now, at least. So, that's another lesson learned. I definitely want to come out with a video sometime soon just to talk about all the lessons I've learned and how I'm going to start using specific analysis. I think the golden cross and the death cross are kind of like the two best things to listen to from that end, because it's like, if you're not familiar, golden cross is when the 50-day moving average crosses the 200-day moving average, and then death cross is when it goes below it. So basically golden cross goes above it, and then death cross goes below it. So usually what happens is, like, it's going to take a little while for that to actually even out. But those usually signify the big downward swings and the big upward swing. So I think I'm going to start using that as my main indicator, along with a 13 and 30 potentially, because another stock thing that I've done in the past is looked at the 30-day moving average and the 13-day moving average. And usually when the 13 crosses the 30, that's a sign of short-term bullish action. Okay. And when the 30 crosses under it, it's going to be short-term bearish. So I think that's just kind of the easy way to look at these things, is basically bullish and bearish short-term analysis, looking at, okay, like, we're not going to sell the top and buy the bottom every single time perfectly, but at least looking at these on-chain analysis or just like chart analysis. I think, oversimplifying it, because I think a lot of the chart analysis, they're looking at so many indicators, like that's great. I just think this is an easy way. So I'm going to kind of be documenting my progress to do that and see where we're at, because I'm tired of watching my portfolio go up and then go all the way back down and knowing that I should have taken profits along the way. I've taken profits on some things and I've talked about those, but not all things. So, it's on me. So either way, we're looking at our crypto versus sports betting challenge. We've got divisional round playoff games today, and I don't know what's going on. It's just crypto's on a bad run, and then our picks have been on a bad run. My picks, I should say. So, at one point in this season, we were up 600 on both accounts. I guess we should have stopped there, because, crypto right now, we've got 70 Cardano. That's at 107 right now. It's, at the lowest it's been in a long time. That's only worth $74.90. One Solana at 96.52. We got it at like 175, I think. 200 mana at 1.93. That's the only one of ours that's up. We got it at 80 cents, and now it's at 1.93. So that's $386. Then we have 260 XRP at 153.40, or sorry, at 59 cents for 153.40. And then 5,000 Stormex at 0.012. Stormex is at an all-time low. That's one that it was 10 cents in March of 2020. So I don't know, man. I just don't know how they can say we're still bullish. I mean, I guess we are. It's still in a bear market or bull market, but it's just, I'd rather just sell and buy and sell and buy and sell, because this is not this hodling. I mean, it's nice whenever you have something that like mana, and then you're just sitting there from 30 cents, and then all of a sudden it rips to like $5 in one day. But those things are few and far between. So I just think it's better to do short term, and that's kind of what my strategy is going to be. But yeah, so we're at 770.82, I believe, for our investing crypto side, which means we're currently down 23%. Not terrible, but definitely not good. Especially in the fact that like we were up 60% at $600 at one point this year. So yeah, all right. And then wild card weekend, we had a tough week again. We started the week, I think down, 270. We took the Chiefs and the Bucks and the teaser. Chiefs were -5.5, along with the Bucks -1.5. After you brought those things down to seven points each, so we risked 195 to 150, and we won that one. Chiefs handled their business. Bucks handled their business. That was an easy win. The Patriots under did not go as expected. The Bills played the best offensive game I think anyone in the NFL has ever played. They never had to punt the whole game. They took a knee on the final possession, but they scored a touchdown on every single drive they had before that. You can't do anything better than that. Bucks over 38.5 was the other side of that. That was an easy win. So we lost that one for -130. And then this one was the one that really hurt us. We had the Cowboys over 43 and Rams over 42.5 in a teaser. So Cowboys game didn't go at quite as expected. I thought that game was going to be higher scoring. I don't know. This is completely just my superstition, but to me, the CBS games, they don't have good juju. Like if that game was on Fox, I think it would be higher scoring, like, because you always see games on Fox, like for some reason, that they're, I don't know what it is, but like like Packers 49ers in the past, that those games are always on Fox, and they were really high scoring divisional round games. You can go back and look at some of the famous Packers 49ers games on YouTube, very high scoring games. But I mean, last year the Super Bowl was on CBS, one of the worst Super Bowls I can remember. So I just think there's something with the CBS vibe. The games aren't very high scoring usually, whereas Fox, I don't know what it is, but the games are more high scoring on that side. So it's really hard to tell. I mean, this is just complete superstition, but we can actually look at something and see if that's actually legit. But we'll see how the games go this weekend. I saw that 2 games out of the 4 are on CBS. I did not like that because we'll see. We'll keep tracking the CBS, juju thing. So yeah, so the Cowboys game, it was 23-17, only 40 points scored. One more field goal would have at least gotten us a push, but Rams overhit. It was 34-11. So that game was just, both games were very low scoring compared to normal, which is kind of expected in the playoffs. So we lost 260 there, and then we had a parlay a bunch. I think we lost 3 out of 4 things on the parlay, or 2 out of 4, it looks like. We had the Chiefs -1.5, Rams plus, oh, that's this week, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's just -290 last week, and then -270 total puts us at -580. So we're doing worse in the sports betting now than the investing, but we only have enough money for, I think, $420 in our account to play with. So 560, I'm sorry. So we have 440 in our account to play with. We're down 560. So I'm just going to take, what I did was write down everything, and I think try to just take the most safe things that I felt like we're confidently going to hit. But that's also not the best strategy. I've realized is, it's taking the safe things doesn't always work out when it comes to betting. When you start playing scared and you're scared to lose, that's when you start doing bad. But I don't really know what else to do here. So, sounding super confident, right? So anyway, we're going to take the Chiefs and the Bills under 60.5 in a teaser. It's 53.5. So we're going to bump that up to 60.5. I think this game has the potential to be a shootout, but I do think with the weather being slightly cold, I don't think that really makes a difference for the Bills. They played in super cold weather last game and scored points at will. But I think these games are going to, I think a lot has to go right for them to hit 60 is what I'm saying. I think there's a lot more room if they have a low scoring quarter. It's going to be basically really hard to hit 60 at that point. And then we're going to combine that with the Packers 49ers under 54.5. That one is at 47.5. And I do like, I think that game is on Fox. So if that hits the over, I should have known. And I do think I could see that. I almost took the over 41.5 in that one, or it would have been 40.5. But I just kind of like to play the under with the cold weather up there. It's kind of hard to take the over when a game is at, it's going to be in like 10 to 15 degrees in that game. So we'll see. But yeah, so I'm going to take both of those together, 130 to win 100. And then next, we're going to take the Bengals and Titans over 40.5. I think the offenses in this game will be the deciding factor. I think that Joe Burrow will be able to put up at least 20 points on the Titans. And then I do think the Titans are going to be able to run on the Bengals, but Derrick Henry's back apparently, I think, but he's probably not going to be as, I could be 100%. He could not be. However, I think either way, Deontay Foreman as as another running back there will basically carry the load as well. So I think the Titans should be able to move the ball. So I'm going to take the Bengals Titans over 40.5, and then we're going to take the Rams and Bucks over 41.5. In that, it's 48.5, so we're going to move to 41.5, and then Bengals Titans to 47.5, so we're moving to 40.5, risking 130 to 100. Of course, I do think the Rams Bucks, I feel like that game has the highest potential to go over because of how good the offenses are. And just like that game is in the 50s in the weather, I think. So based on the weather plus the two teams kind of how they play, I do think that one has the biggest potential to go over. And that game is on what channel? NBC. So I like that better. If it was CBS, so we'll see, because the Bills Chiefs is on CBS. So if I'm correct with my CBS bad scoring juju, we'll see how that goes. And the Titans Bengals game is also on CBS, but I do think 40 points is pretty easy to hit for those two teams. So we'll see how that goes. But if it doesn't hit 40.5, I'm definitely going to just be annoyed with CBS. So yeah, anyway, I feel like I'm just going off the deep end here. Rams, last game, we're going to take the Rams plus 10 and a teaser. Plus 3 is the regular line. So we're going to move that to plus 10. And then we're also going to combine that with the Titans plus 3.5. So, plus 3.5, I think that's decent. But I do think the way the Titans are moving the ball right now, I think, or at least the Bengals defense, to me, I think like the Titans will just be able to run. Plus they've had 8 days rest, I think, something like that. And Mike Vrabel is 8-0 with 8 days rest or more. I do think he's a great coach. I think he's a great playoff coach. He's beaten great teams in the playoffs as underdogs. And I think this week, they are getting kind of disrespected as far as, I think people just want them to lose. I think, myself included, I would like to see Joe Burrow advance to the AFC Championship and just kind of ride that wave as far as him and Jamar Chase just going off. It's fun to root for the Bengals and the Titans. They've kind of been overlooked all year, myself included on that. They just haven't seen that exciting at times, but I think AJ Brown, him coming back, is a big difference for them. Plus them being rested, I think they'll be able to control this game as far as the running game. So, and they have beaten teams at home is what I was trying to say. Like they beat the 49ers at home, they beat the Bills at home. So I do think that they're, at least probably going to lose by a field goal if they do lose. So we'll see. I like all these. So we're risk 130 to win 100 on all of them. And then of course we do want to take a parlay just to get something. And if we could win this, that would be massive for our balance here. So we're going to risk 50 to win 500. So we're going to take the Chiefs minus 1.5 against the Bills. It's tough. I kind of think the Bills are going to do it, but I just haven't seen them go. It's one of those things where it's like, I haven't seen it. I don't know. My logic is different on both of these because I'm kind of leaning more Chiefs on this one at home, but we'll see. Rams plus 3 as well. And basically the reason I was saying that is because it's like I haven't seen Patrick Mahomes lose at home in the playoffs to any AFC team since Tom Brady. But at the same time, I haven't seen Tom Brady lose to anybody in the NFC playoffs ever. But I'm taking the Rams plus 3 because I think it's the Rams year. And I just think they have beaten the Bucks before. And I think if they can just move the ball on the Bucks, I think they'll have a good shot to win that one. So I do think the Rams, even if they lose by 2, we could still win that. So it's tough to bet against Brady. It sucks because he always wins and you want to root for other teams. But if you're picking against Brady, that's what it definitely hurts. And you're like, why did I even try? But yeah, so we're going to do Rams plus 3. I think I hope they win the Super Bowl this year. I'm not really a Rams fan. I just like Sean McVay. So I'd like to see him get that Super Bowl. And then we're also going to take the Bucks over 48.5. I think 27-24, 28-27 will be the score of that game. Maybe even higher. And then the Chiefs under 53.5. Again, this is a big risk, but I do think when these two teams kind of play in the playoffs, it could be a lot cagier than the way they played earlier this year. Earlier this year, they scored 58. It was 38-20. The Bills played lights out. But I think just the way the playoffs go, I could see this game being in the 40s. a lot more than, you know, in the 50s. And if, like we said, if they have one quarter where it's like 3-0 or something like that for the quarter, which happens in the playoffs quite a bit, that under is most likely going to hit. So that's about it. We'll see how we do this week. Hopefully we rebound, and, you know, we'll see how we end up on the season. So we got this week plus 2 more weeks. But hopefully by the Super Bowl, crypto will come back. So that's where we're at. All right, guys, appreciate y'all tuning in today. Sorry, it's kind of depressing episode, but you know, that's how things are at this moment in crypto, and hopefully we can enjoy some good football games. So, all right, y'all have a good weekend. I'll see you later.